Without water we have nothing. Water is life. We've heard of that from many of the water authorities for a very long time. Unfortunately, our job doesn't get any easier. Each year there's different sorts of viewpoints on how water should be managed. The thing is, the sophistication of how we're managing that water keeps on raising all the time. Each year we get a little better at it. But the important part is that interface between what we're doing in the industry and how we communicate with the general community. So Jeff mentioned 3AW. It is Melbourne's #1 talkback station for the 4th year in a row. Wednesdays 1:45 if you want to tune in, and I'd love someone to ring up and just congratulate me for once. That'd be lovely, because what I deal with every week is about 10 or 12 talkback callers who call up and basically abuse me for believing in climate change. They also call up and say, well, now that we've had some rain, now that we've had these floods, surely I can just turn the sprinklers on and let it flow like I used to. Surely I can have the car out there and just splash water all over it and do what I used to. So we've got a constant battle, if you like, on our hands, where that interface between scientific understanding, between what we do in our water authorities, has to then translate to what the general community understands as well. So in doing that, I actually started out my life at a water authority. It was Sunraysia Rural Water Authority, which is now merged to Lower Murray Water. We do a lot of close work with Melbourne Water as well, with the Melbourne Water Kids Teaching Kids Conference. Now the whole thing with that Kids Teaching Kids Conference is it's all about trying to get that next generation to actually understand the issues that we understand, so that we're not constantly battling to get that base level understanding, if you like, so that we can actually spring forward with all the innovative thinking, because the difference between efficient and inefficient is a very, very long way. We can do amazing things both with mass water storage, with stormwater harvesting, with multi-source supply. Dare we even think, let's forget about Toowoomba, dare we even think about drinking recycled water one day? Who knows? I did a presentation up in Sydney and there was just this outcry about drinking recycled water, and I said, look, I hate to tell you, but you're drinking recycled water all the time. It's been recycled since the dinosaurs were around, so if you want to put it in that way, you're actually drinking dinosaur wee. Didn't go over too well with them, but that's fine. So Kids Teaching Kids has been going for 12 years now, right throughout every state and territory. We've had 35,000 kids through the program, but it has been supported so strongly in Melbourne by Melbourne Water. I was at a teacher conference the other day with South East Water where I spoke to 78 teachers about the Water Learn It Live It program. So the sorts of community education that our water authorities are doing is fantastic. This website is another step in the right direction, because what it does is it takes that scientific understanding, as I said, which can often disengage the community. We only have to start getting technical about, you know, catchment management and the city as a catchment, and it disengages everyday people. So really this website is about taking that understanding through to the general community, but then allowing a community of learners through the Facebook application. So I did plug it on 3AW on Wednesday, so hopefully we're going to start to get some people on that Facebook page actually communicating with each other about how they're dealing with putting the right amount of water on their gardens. Because as I grew up in Mildura, and the water sophistication there when I was a young boy was, particularly with the vineyards, flood irrigation was turn on my water, and when it flows out the bottom of the row, that's when we've watered enough. We've come a long way since then. We need to keep on going further each time. We can improve minimum planning requirements. We can do better with that multi-source supply. Certainly stormwater harvesting is a huge option for us, but I do think that what is paramount in this industry is that continuing communication with the general public. And it's also about communicating the opportunities. When you talk about the climate change context we're in, it's pretty easy to get disheartened about the future that we're going to enjoy. But with a great threat comes a great opportunity. It comes an opportunity to become more efficient, to do things better, to find that commercial edge, if you like, and then to communicate that back as a commercial opportunity to other states, to other countries even. So linking with the tertiary sector is absolutely vital, and then being that interface between the general community is also vital. It's also about how we communicate it with the next generation. The sort of language that we use is really important. So I don't know if you saw that survey about a year ago by Newspoll. Right across Australia, grade 5-6 students had to list their top 10 fears. Number 1 on that list was death of parents, which is completely understandable. Number 2 on that list was climate change and the environment. So I don't know about you, but when I was 10, 11 years old, number 1 was werewolves, number 2 was Doctor Who. So the idea that our kids are fearing this climate change issue like the monster under the bed should concern us. But there are so many great projects happening right across Melbourne that we need to keep on communicating. we do need to keep telling the good news stories. That's why this website is such a great initiative. I think communicating those sorts of wins back to the community is absolutely vital. As I said, we work on the Melbourne Water Kids Teaching Kids Conference. That is a great initiative. I've been lucky enough to speak at the Smart Water Fund and seen the initiatives that they actually support, including this initiative. I think that the innovation on that edge is really important, because best practice, again, is something that we should all be aiming for. Keeping on pushing that envelope is something that we all need to do from day to day. I'm now going to do a dance for you all. That's just the cue for me to do that. But no, I want to actually officially launch the next stage of the Smart Garden Watering site. I encourage you, if you haven't already, to jump on. I've already been on there and left a message on Facebook, waiting for someone to like it, you know, as you do on Facebook these days. You know, not only have we come from the schoolyard where, you know, you had to do cool things and wait for someone's feedback, now you can do it in cyberworld and still be an absolute dork. So that's pretty much my status at the moment. But I encourage you to get on the website, communicate that out through your networks, and be proud of what you're doing in terms of communicating this to the general public. So without any further ado, I'd like to officially launch the Smart Gardening Water website. Round of applause. Well done.